I was going to ask you about I listened to the podcast on Arlo's podcast, the one that has like a paragraph long on the title.
Yeah.
And good job, by the way. It was the one that you were interviewing him.
Thanks.
You know, and I didn't know that competitive edge was no more, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I guess downsized. I mean, he's still seeing clients. They just go to his house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't he get a pretty, like, I mean, and so I think I was listening to most of it. Is he just like going a different direction with his career? Or?
Yeah, no, same stuff. He's still doing training, but he was just saying that, like, so his father-in-law, if I'm getting this right, owned the building and gave him a decent
sweet
price.
Deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The building got bought out by someone else. They jacked the price, and it was right around then. The thing that stood out to me with what Arlo said is that, like, you know, he's spending all his time teaching people how to work out and teaching them jujitsu and all these different things, and devoting all his time and energy into helping other people. And meanwhile, his kids are growing up, and he's not, you know, lending his expertise to them. So he's like, I just want to spend time with my kids. And,
okay.
And so he's like, I can do it way easier if, you know, I have a client and then I can, you know, just go upstairs and be with my family.
Got it.
Is motivated a lot by that.
Okay.
Which totally makes sense.
Dude, that always reminds me of like, so is he doing it like out of his house then?
Yeah.
Dude, I always thought like how, like, I don't know, quaint it would be or cool. Do you ever watch Bob's Burgers?
No.
Okay. Of course not. It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's really good though. But it basically they own a burger shop, obviously. But they live on top of that. So their house is also part of, like, so they live upstairs, they go downstairs, and then they're I was like, that always seems like kind of quaint, I guess, you know? And then I see a lot of movies, like, and this is what's really weird. In movies, a lot of movies. I was just watching that movie. You probably haven't seen it. Smile. Have you watched it?
No.
It's like a, you know, I give it a B in terms of grades as far as like horror movies, you know?
All right.
There's in that she, at one part she wigs out. She goes and sees a therapist. Anyway, her therapist like does therapy sessions at her home, which apparently, like, I looked back on it, several movies.
Boy.
And there was a series on HBO called In Treatment. It was about a therapist that I watched. It was relatively good, but he was doing therapy out of his home too.
Huh.
Yeah, we could never do that.
Like,
with our clients.
That's not a great plan.
Yeah. Well, so that podcast that you did with him, I think kind of inspired me to bring up this topic, which I don't know. I think we kind of talked about this last year a little bit, didn't we? Like New Year's resolutions.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and we
kind of talked about the motivation and discipline, and then the stages of change.
Okay. Yeah. And so I tried to, you know, like always, I try to weave a little bit of research in here, right? And I have done that, so we'll go over this, and I put the article in the show notes so you guys can read that. But I did want to bring up maybe a unique way you and I can start thinking about New Year's resolutions, because obviously I don't. Did you do anything fun for New Year's?
Just like hung out with Brandon and Lindsay, his wife.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I slept. I was asleep at like 9 o'clock. I'm boring as hell.
Yeah.
Well, I had to get up and train earlier that morning, so I was like, I gotta go to sleep. So, but we successfully made it through another year, and I mean, I don't know. I was thinking, okay, well, New Year's to me is like birthdays to me.
Don't care.
I couldn't care less about it.
You notoriously don't care about birthdays.
Yeah. Even though I have one coming up in 12 days. Yeah. But because for me, I guess, you know, the one thing I've come around to is I guess, you know, with the the passing of another year, at least I think we came to this conclusion last time we were talking was at least it's a benchmark, right, for setting a goal. I mean, I guess I don't really care when you set goals, but at least it is a starting point. And if it inspires you, like we were talking about the motivation piece, if it does inspire you, awesome. And if that's the starting point, great. It is a little annoying, the beginning of the year when it comes to the resolutioners coming into the gym and just not knowing a whole lot of gym etiquette. I know this meathead talk. It just is what it is. Just deal with it. It is a little annoying, but it does go away. So I've come to, I don't really care. And if prior to then they were doing nothing and now they're doing something awesome, like anytime people are just trying to improve their lives, that's great. I mean, what business is it of mine? So, so I thought we'd look into it today on at least a deeper level. But I was gonna bring up to you something that we were going to, but let's at least, so I've got, well, let me start with that. So I'm going to show you, first we'll get into, I've prepared some slides for viewers to kind of back up what we're looking at, right? It'll help us stay on track too. But so I thought for you and I, and we could do this with anybody because you and I like to challenge one another, right?
Yeah.
So rather than resolutions, why don't we have like New Year's dares? Okay. Now, within reason, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, we'll see.
These have to be reasonable dares that and deals on these too. Like, so they can't be crazy. Okay. They can't be something that is beyond our ability to accomplish. And again, they kind of have to be reasonable. Now, I've thought of one for you already. That's why I was going to invite Alan here, which I'm kind of actually glad that he's not here because both of you have way better podcast voices than I do. Have you noticed that? I guarantee.
Well, you told me I sound like a smoker.
That one time, I think you just have a voice like I will. Have you ever listened to like podcasters or radio show hosts, and in your mind you develop a picture of what they look like? Okay, I almost guarantee what people think you look like is dead nuts on.
Yeah.
Now, when they hear my annoying ass voice, I guarantee they think something completely.
What do you think they're picturing?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe listeners can weigh in.
Yeah. Yeah. Comment on what I look like in your mind without, if you just listen. Like maybe compare it to like a celebrity or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear what
some Weasley looking celebrity is what I would imagine because I just know I can tell it's an annoying voice. But and Alan's got really deep, rich, smooth voice. Yeah. Have you ever heard that dude sing?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, he's really good at singing. And he anytime we played like a rock band, he'd always nail it and everything. I was always the drummer, just being dumb. So. All right, so here's my dare. You ready? All right. So I New Year's dare you to come hunting with Alan and I this year. Okay? You don't have to get a tag. You don't have to do anything. And I just come and experience it.
I don't have to get a tag?
You can. There's a few things that you need to do in the meantime, though, which you'd have to hurry. You'd have to go to Hunter Safety. I'd show you where to go register. You get a tag. Maybe. It's kind of a lottery, so who knows. But... even if not, so I can help you out with all that. So I wanted to be that for a default because I don't want to give you a way out. Tag or not, I dare you to come hunting with us this year. Elk or deer, I'll explain later what those entail, and you can make your choice. That is your dare. So you don't have to commit to it right now. That is just my dare to you.
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah.
That's reasonable, right?
That's reasonable.
So now when you come up with that or whatever cockamamie nonsense, that's another word we need to bring. Cockamamie.
Sure.
Bamboozled and cockamamie. Whatever.
Are you needing me to come up with a dare for you, like on the spot? Like,
no, I'm going to give you some time.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some time. And if you can come up with it today, that'd be great. If not, we can revisit this. Okay.
Right.
But I figure we'll jump into this because I have a video I want you to watch, which should inspire you. Okay. It's like, it's a little,
it's an interesting approach to today.
A little lengthy.
Yeah.
It's a little lengthy. It's about 9 minutes, but I almost guarantee that you haven't seen this, and but it should give us a pretty good pretty good beat on. It's going to inspire you to, and this is what I was thinking about earlier today. I was with some of these things. So let me get us started here, dude. I swear. Look at this. Look at this. What's up, Atsa? What's up with your PowerPoints, son? Look at that. Okay, so let's start into some of these things, okay? So, 2023, the year of the rabbit.
Is that so?
That is. I don't know what those things mean.
Cool. Yeah, me neither. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I always like...
Let's do it.
Is that what you guys? Is that what you guys did at your New Year's party? You guys look. You just scream, yeah, 2023,
rabbit time,
the year of the rabbit,
bunny time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that information, man. Yeah.
I know the year of the rabbit.
Yeah. Are we celebrating the rabbit? I don't know.
Maybe. Okay.
Hunting.
So I have a very strong affinity for this actor. You may or
John
may
Hamm.
Well, I love John Hamm, but this is also one of my and ironically, he was in the most recent movie with this guy. So I just want you to watch this. Now, bear in mind, okay, this is a video about Tom Cruise, one of my favorite people on the planet, and you'll know why here in a minute. Okay. Bear in mind, dude's 60 years old. 60 years old.
He looks amazing.
I know. Well, who cares about his looks? I just want you to watch this. Now, look, I was watching this, and halfway through, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But then it just got better and better, okay? So without further ado on this guy.
This is far and away the most dangerous thing we've ever attempted.
So they're showing a ramp
We've been working on this for years.
overlooking a mountain.
We're going to shoot it in Norway, and it'll be a motorcycle jump off a cliff.
A steep cliff.
A base jump.
So this is
I wanted to do it since I was a little kid.
Tom
It all comes
Cruise,
down to one thing: the audience.
who does his own stunts. Talking about jumping off of a motorcycle ramp
There's a lot
and doing a
going
base
into this
jump.
stuff. So Tom put together this master plan to coordinate all of these experts in each of the particular disciplines involved to make this whole thing happen. John and I are jumping out of the helicopter. He's
A lot of good all those masks are doing.
Let's be fair to each other. Don't be careful. Be confident. Be confident.
A year of base training, advanced skydive training, a lot of canopy skills, a lot of tracking.
Tom Cruise, he's an amazing individual. You tell him something and he just locks it in. His sense of spatial awareness, he's the most aware person I've ever met.
Lots of practice on stability and free fall.
Tracking with John and Miles in the air, doing lots of different positioning, like they're a two-man team in the air, coming on top of each other, below each other, backtracking, front tracking. You know, we've drilled and drilled and drilled.
That dude just jumping out of airplanes.
You do a lot of jumping
He's
back
worth like a
and
gajillion
forth.
dollars.
This
Control
is
skills improve
boosting my
lots.
respect for the man. Just watching this.
Which is a good thing.
Dude, here's the thing about that, though.
Training's
Like,
gone really well.
I'm not
It's
talking about how much
progressing
his
massively.
net worth is, how much he has in the bank. I'm talking about how much he's worth
Great day,
in
man.
terms of
This is the next part
money-making
of training
ability.
right here.
You know what I mean? Billions. Billions of dollars.
I just like seeing someone
So we built a motocross.
Look what he's doing.
elite Hollywood dude.
So, Tom Cruise is now- he has a motorcycle that he's jumping on these
great positioning on the bike, landing
dirt
well.
ramps.
I have to get
Now, at
so
this point,
good
me and
at
you'd be
this
out,
that there's just
right?
no way
Oh
that
yeah,
I'm
a
We're-
long time ago. Yeah. I'm not getting on a bike.
Coming up with the stunt is only one
Riding a
attempt.
motorcycle on a
No,
dirt ramp
no,
and jumping it?
no.
Camera in a place that you can see where Tom is doing it, finding the right lens, the right platform, the right medium. Even 2 years ago, the cameras didn't exist.
Honestly,
that would
that's-
allow us to do.
So
what
they're
we're
talking
trying
about all
to
these
do.
shots,
How do we
which,
involve the audience. I just want to give them
so
that
this is
thrill.
months and months
That
of
means the
training
camera has to be in front of Tom and as close to him as
for
possible.
Feels like you're going over
maybe
the camera.
45
Yes, very
seconds of a movie.
You train and drill every little aspect over and over and over and over again. They were doing.
So he's jumping out of a helicopter to get used to
Getting to a
the
point
base
where
jump
he
that
was
he's
just
about
a
to do.
machine. I mean, over 500 skydives.
500
That's what we
skydives.
do. Over 13,000 motocross jumps.
Damn.
13,000 motocross jumps.
He legit trained.
Yeah.
replicated this ramp in England at a quarry.
Dude,
We filled the quarry with cardboard boxes,
Okay.
which were there to catch the motorcycle. The reason
So
why
now
we
they're
did that
preparing
is so
for
that
the
Tom
stunt.
Could simulate the jump.
so they build a hole,
Should I
they
go
fill it
off
with cardboard
distance do I
boxes
travel?
and
We
a
built
bunch of
models of
foam,
different
and then we're
ramps
jumping
at
him off.
different
He's got a
angles
crane
to
tied to his
calculate
back,
what Tom's
and then
trajectory would
the
be.
bike is
We
falling
have to
into
be
the
able to
foam.
consistently predict where Tom
Now,
is going
again,
to be in
we're out.
three-dimensional space.
Me and you are not doing
yeah.
this.
No.
And that recorded every single one.
Not
of
without
Tom's
a
jumps,
lot of
along with his
training
ground speed,
and
whether there was a headwind,
ability to
whether
ramp
there was
up.
a crosswind. And by doing this multiple times, we were able to get a consistent set of data.
So that each take we can see what height I
He's
am.
60.
If this was
He's
your-
60 years old.
Drones and cameras.
If this was your
places where I
job,
can
you'd do
go
it, though.
right into close-up. Rule 1. Don't hit me with the drone.
Because if we do it all, we don't
Would I?
Let's do it, guys.
Is this actors' jobs?
Almost wear my earplugs.
Dude, hold on a second. Like, who's
No one else.
Who's a badass actor in your opinion? Jason Momoa?
Sure.
Say, Jason Momoa, you want to jump a motorcycle off a cliff? I mean, nothing against Jason Momoa. I love the dude, but come on, son.
This is unique. Tom Cruise is unique. That's.
And then as I depart the bike, I'm using the wind that's hitting me here.
I mean,
and I'm
he doesn't
pumping
have
my
to do all
chest.
this
That will
stuff.
give me
No.
lift.
No. They have stunt doubles for this. Look at this. So look at him preparing. Dude, look at these shots. And of course, they can just like, you know, CGI at all that other stuff. Okay, it's over. No, not really. He's really gonna do this shit, dude. He's really gonna jump a motorcycle off this cliff. Dude, look at that.
Stunning.
Look at
Yeah.
dude, look at that drop.
We're here in Norway.
Where is this?
Constructing
Norway.
this ramp over a number of months. Everything here has to be brought in by helicopter.
Dude, everything they
Engineers
did had to be brought in by
technicians.
helicopter because of where this remote location was for this.
Today
Look
is
at
day one of
that.
classic
Is so
photography, and we are starting in classic mission form with the biggest stunt in the film.
What we're doing here is I'm just
This is for like 45 seconds of the movie. I'm gonna see this movie 10 times.
Just to pay homage to Tom Cruise for the work he put in.
Yeah.
Basically, when he gets down,
I see what you're saying. That's legit.
He's one of the best men alive.
He'll actually know the weather conditions in this
Just
area,
best
in the
man.
area
You seen that
on the
Scientology
ground.
medal? Cruise.
And then he has to safely deploy a parachute.
I will say about
Now he's in a rock
Scientology, I
bowl
thought about that,
with
and I was
walls
thinking,
all around him, and he's
you know,
gonna fly out of it.
every other religion, you know, everything is for eternity. At least theirs ends after 6 billion years or whatever. You know what I mean? They have a
That's good. Yeah.
your dedication to them is only that long.
Yeah.
Way shorter than eternity.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, it's just a billion years.
I don't know if it's 6 billion, but I can't.
Something like that.
Yeah, but either way, it has an end date.
I think, yeah.
And then I guess what? You just
Then you
ball out.
You're free.
You're just wilding out after that.
Now we're gonna set the
Billion
frame.
years.
Yeah. Think about it. Every other. It's for eternity. You're in it for
Right.
eternity.
You know, the
Yeah,
only
they're not
things you
asking
really have
much
to avoid
compared to
while
eternity.
It's actually reasonable.
Yeah, it's a
is,
fraction.
Serious injury or death. Here we go. You're riding a motorcycle, which is pretty dangerous, on top of a ramp that's elevated off the ground. So
Look at that ramp.
That's going to be very bad.
Dude, that's as big as a
You're
building.
falling. If you don't get a clean exit from the bike and you get tangled up with it, if you don't open your parachute, you're not going to make it.
He packed his own parachute every time.
No way.
Yes. Yes, way.
I wait.
Dude, ay, way. También. Look at this lunatic, dude.
That's real.
60.
That's real.
This really happened.
Yeah.
There's no crane. There's no mechanical stuff. There's no nothing. Look at him go. Look at him. Come on, son.
What happens to his bike?
It dies. It's a small price to pay for film, son.
For 45 seconds
Yeah.
of glory. Wow.
Come on, dude.
Man, they were holding their breath with that. The price tag Tom Cruise has.
Look, he did that
He packed his
himself.
chute right.
Himself. He did that himself.
That's tight.
Okay, and look, here's the other piece about this. Not only did he do it once, okay? Because you got to get a few shots in there just in case it.
Did you do that?
No. Would you?
I wouldn't trust myself on a bike.
Pretty much the biggest stunt in cinema history. Tom Cruise just rode a motorcycle off a cliff 6 times today.
6 times, dude.
I mean, dudes like Evel Knievel made a career out of being a stuntman.
Dude,
That's cool. That's cool.
I am just saying.
All right.
Just saying.
So, I mean, you showed that to me to inspire me.
Well, okay, think about it like this, dude. Next time when you're down and out and you are like, man, I don't know if I want to go to the gym today, or I don't want to know if I do this today.
Tom Cruise jumped 6 times.
Dude, and he's 60. That's all you need to tell yourself is he's 60 and he did that. That's crazy, man. That is nuts. That is nutso. The last few times that I was like thinking about
how epic was that scenery,
dude, that was crazy. That was crazy. So that should inspire you a little bit to think a little bit about what you might dare me to do. Have you come up with it yet?
You want something like that?
No.
Yeah.
I want mine
epic, like
reasonable.
Okay.
I want mine reasonable.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, whatever it is, man, you coming hunting with us pales in comparison to that nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, it just, those type of things, when people do that, I'm like, it's nice to remind myself, like, hold on, that dude's 60, he's jumping motorcycles off of cliffs, bro.
I mean, here's the thing. If something comes to me in the next 40 minutes, however long we're talking today,
okay,
I'll throw it your way, but
you just think about
this I don't have to decide today.
No.
Like,
we got time.
Yeah.
I don't care
could be
when
something I introduce in the next episode.
And I do have to have a reasonable time frame to do it. I mean, hunting doesn't happen till next October.
I need time frames like that.
You're good.
And because here's the thing, I just got through reading this book called The Comfort Crisis, and it talks about how soft we are, and that, these.
I couldn't tell by the title.
Right. I know. Huh? These, like, air conditioned rooms, everything's tailor made for us, and the lack of, like, that human beings are kind of designed for struggle.
Yeah.
And that we actually benefit from, like, a mental health perspective from having, like, difficult things. We thrive that way. We've evolved to thrive in comfortable situations. And so it's talking about a lot of the mental health problems is because of how soft and, comforting everything is. And so it talks about doing what's called a misogi, like MISOGI. It's a Japanese word about that, like, people intentionally, willfully put themselves in difficult situations, often outdoors, and, like, that's physically taxing, mentally straining, outside of anything you've done. And, like, that's kind of what hunting sounds like to me.
It definitely is. It will be difficult, but also, like, it will prepare you to know whether or not this is something that you want to look into a little bit more, because it's investment. It's a financial, time and energy investment. The reward is awesome. It's about the in terms of understanding. It's like one of those things that I think I got a pretty good grasp on why you dig jujitsu. And mine is, I think, more of a choice of preference in terms of, physical goals or whatever. But in your case, you kind of have to be there to understand a little bit more about it. You know what I mean? So
sure.
That's why I was going to have Alan come. He's kind of a de facto. That guy should.
I've heard him talk about it.
Dude, I mean, I talk a lot of crap on Alan, but truth be told, that guy should, like, be a world famous outfitter at this point.
Would he be a good guide?
Oh yeah. He should, and we should just go with him for free, and then he charges everybody else. But the amount of, like, I mean, the bulls and the bucks that he gets are, I mean, amazing. You know what I mean? Compared to other people. So it's just, and a lot of it is just hard work. There's no free lunches in there.
That's the thing, is if I be coming along, like, I'm so fish out of the water with something like that. I know nothing about hunting. I know how to hike.
Yeah, you'd be all right then.
Yeah.
Well, and you could work hard, and you could push yourself, and that's, dude. I was thinking that comfort crisis thing is that's really cool because I feel really bad for, like, I think about third world countries, that don't enjoy things like air conditioning and stuff like that. And I just want to know what the mental health incident rate is there. Probably next to zero. Like nobody has time.
Says something like that in the book.
Nobody has time for depression or anxiety or anything like that. That's a luxury that
it referenced that.
Right. Like I just thought, I'm just thinking about that. Like, and then my favorite part is like, there's a lot of push to obviously like end some of those comforts, because we're destroying the planet and everything and carbon this and all that. I'm like, well, eventually those won't be third world countries, I would suspect, or maybe those guys get their way out of there. And I'm like,
they're going to industrialize. And
well, imagine that you get to the point where you can finally have air conditioning in your home and you've been living in sub-Saharan Africa for the last 20 years. And then he's like, no, sorry, we can't do that with our
carbon. Oh, hell no. It's like, no, we finally got, yeah.
For the next 100 years, I'm getting some AC play.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
No, that's good. Well, so let's look at this. Let's look at this study that we were going to review. This will kind of be helpful. So the abstract on this, basically, they had 1,066 participants. That's a pretty good N size, I think, as far as participants go. And general public were randomized into 3 groups: active control, some support, and extended support. So control doesn't have any bells and whistles attached to it, okay? So 3 groups. The most popular resolutions regarded physical health, weight loss, and eating habits. So that should be no surprise to anybody, right? At a 1-year follow-up, 55% of responders considered themselves successful in sustaining their resolutions.
It's more than I thought.
And participants with approach-oriented goals were significantly more successful than those with avoidance-oriented goals.
That's something that, like, I don't know if it's the same study or a different one, but I remember you sometime in the last year you pointed that out to me.
Well, this study was published in 2020, and we did a podcast previously on this, and the study was done in 2017. So they've updated it.
I see.
Yeah.
I had a goal once upon a time of
hey, before this, can you succinctly describe approach-oriented versus avoidance goals?
I mean, it kind of like comfort
I
crisis.
Define it later.
It's in the name, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Approach would be like you're working towards something.
Yeah.
And avoidance would be like you're trying to not do a given thing, to stop smoking.
So an approach-oriented goal would be, I'm going to run a marathon.
Yeah.
An avoidance goal would be, I'm going to stop smoking.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. But what were you going to say about Comfort Crisis book?
No, I was just going to say the term approach-oriented and avoidance-oriented is kind of the name is as obvious as what the comfort crisis is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of says it.
Okay. So they were randomized. And so we had group 1 participants, were completed 3 self-report measures, were assigned 3 follow-ups that occurred last January, June, December. And this was in 2017. They published in 2020. Participants in this group were given no additional support, served as an active control.
All right.
In group 2, participants reported their New Year's resolutions and belief in their chances of success before naming a specific person responsible for supporting them throughout the year. Participants then completed the 3 self-report measures, same as group 1, and were assigned 12 monthly follow-ups, one at the end of every month from January through December. In addition to the extra information during sign-up and more frequent follow-ups, participants in Group 2 were each sent 1 email with information and exercises on how to cope with possible hurdles when striving toward personal goals. So they just got
information.
Researchers basically gave them a motivational email, essentially.
What's happening at the end of the month, though?
They're just reporting like how successful they are. Yeah. And then the more thorough instructions, more frequent group follows, and additional information and exercises were assumed to increase their chances of success compared to group 2.
Okay.
Now, group 3 had everything that group 2 had. They were also asked to formulate goals in terms of approaching rather than avoiding something, and to set interim goals throughout the year. So one of the things we talk about when setting a goal is like break that down into smaller goals, right? The participants then reported their New Year's resolutions and belief in their chances of success before completing the self-report measures.
Ooh.
So that's actually an additional thing. That's a motivational
Little MI.
interviewing technique, which is
Confidence.
I'm gonna base my confidence on how important something is, and also like or essentially it's kind of readiness for change, right? A mixture of importance and confidence. How important something is, how confident I am in succeeding it.
Dude, yeah, the importance, how important is this to me? Like I've thought about the goals that I have failed on, and it's been because I didn't really give a shit that much. It just felt like maybe a good thing to do, but wasn't something that when I really thought about it mattered to me that much.
Yeah.
Never got off the ground. I was in pre-contemplation despite trying to tell myself I was in action. I wasn't.
Yeah. The importance, I mean, and I think that supersedes, I think, even confidence. You know what I mean?
It has to.
Well, confidence to me builds upon itself.
Right.
I mean, so
right.
We'll go back to the marathon example. Let's say I'm going to run a marathon this year, right? And let's say my importance is really high, and it's important for, I don't know why that would be important, but let's just say it is. It's an 8 out of 10. And then my confidence is a 1. Well, your confidence will improve if you stick to a training plan.
Yeah.
Right. So after I start noticing, the first few times it's going to suck, my first few runs. And then after a month, you're going to feel more confident. I guarantee it. So then that confidence goes from, and even deeper, we will ask our clients to define for themselves what will give you more confidence. Like what would it take from, you're a 1 right now, what would it take to get you to a 2 or a 3? And really that's taking an interim goal and then even breaking that down even further to help them. These really proximal goals are important for our clients, or really any clients who are struggling with a mental health disorder or whatever it is. I mean, they just need to know these things, as they're coming through.
Right.
So they integrated that into these New Year's resolutions. So these were not necessarily, none of these people, I don't think really, they were screened for having, they were just messed up.
Are these just
general population?
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, certainly a handful of them would have some sort of mental health diagnosis, but they weren't targeted in that respect. So they still did this for that population.
Like basically a random sample.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see, the participants then, okay, we already did that. Similar to the participants in group 2, those in group 3 were each assigned monthly follow-up and sent an email with information and exercises for coping with hurdles when striving toward personal goals. Additionally, the participants in group 3 were each sent 3 more emails, with information and exercises regarding motivation, thought patterns, and negative spirals in relation to New Year's resolutions.
Sure.
So
that's addressing kind of what we're talking about.
Right. Much more support. So when they say support, it wasn't like they had a dude sitting there, or a gal sitting there telling them what to do.
Information.
Just like who is it? Mick from Rocky. They didn't have a Mick in that corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mick motivated Rocky the way that you like to be motivated. You like yell at Rocky and tell him he was a bum.
Oh, yeah. I definitely,
that's what fires you up.
That's so, I mean, it's so weird because it reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a lot of clients that we've worked with who said the really confrontational and, I've never, ever had anybody explain this to me where they say, yeah, we break you down so we can build you back up. I've never understood that.
Like the rationale behind what that means.
Yeah, I don't even why do you need to break them down in the first place? Like that seems like a lot of extra work you're putting.
Well, and what does that mean? The implication is that they're broken, but what are you breaking down?
And emotionally, I suppose, cognitively.
So does that mean you're making the person feel terrible? I don't know what that means either. I think it's just kind of
you just being emotionally abusive, or
it seems just kind of like a thing to say that sounds like hard nosed.
Yeah, but those are. That double talk in
very
therapy,
serious.
That double talk in therapy just doesn't, it bugs me. It bugs me big time. I mean, I was listening to a therapist run a group the other day, and she said, well, you know the definition of insanity.
Oh God,
I'm
I
like,
know right where this is going.
And I mean, so everybody knows, like doing the same thing over again and expecting different results, attributed to Albert Einstein, which, by the way, he never said it. Look it up. It's worth a Google.
Abe Lincoln said it.
John Hamm said it. Yeah. I don't know. But what I will say is, it's what's insane is that we say that to our clients, because guess what I ask them to do? I ask them all the time, hey, try this social skill. And if it doesn't work, try it again, because you probably missed something. And then if it doesn't work, try it again. And then maybe 20 times later, you're going to start to see some traction on it. So I ask them to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, because you should suck at this right now. And you know how you're
going to suck at this.
You know how I know you suck at this? Because you're talking to me in my group. I know. I don't even need evidence. I already know you suck because you're sitting talking to me. Yeah. And the only way to get better is to practice at it and get better and better. Like, is that what you tell a basketball player? It's like, hey, keep practicing your shot this way, and eventually you're gonna see that ball go into that hoop. No, you should try it differently every single time, because doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. Right. It's so stupid. Right. Just think for 1 second what you're saying before you say it. You know who says that? That girl that confronted us at ATSA.
That's what she says.
I guarantee that's her. She says that every time at her groups.
And she thinks she's like,
I am about to blow their mind, man. Here we go. So, all right. So the introduction to this was, given the fact that millions of people pledge to make a change for the better every year, there is a need for more systematic research. However, looking at research on personal goals in general provides a bit more insight into the process of changing one's behavior. Several studies have examined the importance of goal orientation, often finding that approach-oriented goals are more favorable than avoidance. Approach-oriented goals involve reaching or maintaining a desired outcome. Avoidance goals focus on avoiding or eliminating undesired outcomes. Okay? So that's, I think if you're a listener, if you're thinking about making new goals, you should focus more on reaching or maintaining a desired outcome, and not avoiding or eliminating undesired outcomes.
I don't know if you'll have an answer for this, but if my goal were to, I don't know, let's just go with smoking, because why not? Like, if my goal were to quit smoking, that would be an avoidance goal.
True.
What would you say if that was my goal? What would you say? How would you make that an approach goal?
So I'd weave that into something like running a marathon, because I'd say, well, you need to pick something that you either want to, build up to and or maintain, right? And there's several side effects of smoking that one can point to and say, well, your health are going to get worse for this reason. So if I just want to maintain health, for example, I can come up with multiple metrics. But for me, I'm saying, okay, we'll go further than that. Pick a goal that you feel like is going to be, something beneficial that you can add to your life. And I don't know, last time I checked, it seems like it might be kind of difficult to smoke while you're running a marathon, or at least training for that. And so part of my approach goal toward running a marathon would be, I'm going to at least lessen or discontinue smoking, but that's baked into the cake. That's kind of what I would do.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. So support participants in group 2 who had some support group 3. They were instructed to name one person responsible for supporting their progress throughout the year. The participants were given information about the many benefits of involving friends and family in striving for change. The positive effects of social support on success in reaching one's personal goals have been demonstrated in several studies.
Accountability buddies.
Yeah, well, and we always talk about, like one of our lessons that we work with a lot of our clients who are reentering, just the community from having a period of incarceration, are building social supports, right? Yep. And knowing what makes a pro-social support versus, an anti-social support or a risky individual, and just identifying those people. So, and that you need these pro-social supports in your life. So yeah, if it's accountability buddy, so be it. Participants in group 3 who had extended support were instructed on how to formulate their New Year's resolutions in order to increase their chances of success. So, for example, participants were given information about how unclear, abstract, or overwhelming goals may increase the risk for behavior associated with making up excuses for not pursuing one's goals, which is a phenomenon described in the literature on procrastination. In this case, participants were encouraged to formulate specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time frame goals.
Oh, your favorite.
Smart
your
goals.
favorite. Yeah, dude.
Another thing.
Yeah. Love them.
Although, well, I'll come back to this.
All right.
So, and I do think that that's kind of important for anybody listening is, have a clear goal, right? Whether you do SMART goals or whether you don't. The most important thing about this is, we ran a group, and over, I remember running a group with you one time, and over the clients could not come up with a specific goal. And one of the things was I'm going to be less depressed.
Right.
Okay.
I want to be positive.
Right, but how would you? So if you were walking somebody through that, so you said I want to be less depressed. How would you walk a client through that to say, how do you quantify that and make it more specific?
I'd have to start by maybe, again, if I want to make this into an approach goal rather than an avoidance goal, I have to find out what would make them feel happier or give them purpose or give them meaning, and then find a way to operationalize that into an action.
Perfect. But that's really all you need to do, right? I think when people are formulating these things, you can't have a resolution like have a good year. I don't know what that
meaningless.
means. Right. Or just something so
I did it. What?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so unclear, and I think if you don't set very clear and measurable, realistic goals, it's going to be difficult for you to notice any amount of success. Okay, in that. And I mean, again, keep it within the realm of possibility too. You know what I mean? I'm not saying shortchange yourself at all, but I am saying that, I would rather you just focus on your potential and then live up to that potential. And the good thing about that is that can always, living up to your potential begets more potential. You get there, and then it's well, what's next? It's potential is a concept that I think never has an end date on it. I think you get there, and it's just what? Oh, I got here as far as I'm going to get, been 6 billion years. But I think you say, I always think about the stages of change, and that's a question you should always ask is whatever I'm trying to do in this stage of change, I've made the change. Now I'm just in maintenance. Ask yourself, what's next? How can you build on that next stage? And then you'll move further away from whatever was causing the problems in the first place.
Dude, you actually got in my head about that. So I do all these, I mean, they're not impressive by any means, but every year I set these little mini goals. And like for instance, for all of 2022, it's been at a minimum, I do 50 squats and 40 push-ups a day, just as a minimum.
Body weight.
Yeah, body weight.
Okay.
Yeah. And so in other words, the hard part is 10 p.m. at night when I've gotten into bed and I laying there and I forget, damn it, I didn't do my getting out of bed and actually doing it is, it's like the discipline or whatever. And so I'm definitely in the maintenance stage. I sailed through that goal, did it easy. Now it's 2023 and I'm maintaining that, but now I'm adding to it that I'm also adding on top of that an hour of yoga a week. As a minimum.
Good.
Yeah. And so I think I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep adding things to it once I've maintained some.
Then eventually you have zero time to do anything.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
It's like I subscribe on YouTube to this guy, Athlean X. I don't know if you ever seen him. He's a personal trainer that actually fits the part. He looks like a personal shredded.
Yeah.
And he's really helped me on I'll have lower back spasms a lot because I'll run and then just I'll try to tie my shoe or something, and then it spasms, and I'm out for like a week, and taught me a lot on doing, maintenance on my lower back because it's not the big muscles like
I've had lower back problems for years.
Yeah, but like the ones that a lot of people do, that like they put a weight on their chest and lift up. Those are really big muscles that you're working, and these little tiny ones are the ones that spasm. And so there's really tricky ways of working on these little muscles, and he helped me out a lot. But like, it's funny, his channel, like he has a ton of like, just of his videos that say do this every day, but there's like 80 of them. So I'm like, dude, if I did every one of those every day, I couldn't even work.
Yeah. Just doing weird movements.
Like I mean,
you'd have to do it during session.
Yeah.
These weird ass movements.
You do it with a client. Yeah. He's like, what are you doing, bro?
Sorry, man. Just don't pretend I'm not doing this.
Athlete X, brother.
Yeah. Ignore this.
So, participants in, let's see here. We just went over that slide. So participants in Group 3 were also provided information about the value of interim goals, instructed to formulate 6 such goals for the New Year's resolution. So they took the goal, broke it down into 6 small goals. Focusing on the distant future enables people to postpone their efforts, which is yet again a phenomenon often described in the literature on procrastination. Conversely, interim goals that are temporarily closer effectively mobilize our efforts and thereby determine to what we devote ourselves in the here and now. So, in other words, like one of the things that they're talking about in the study is, if it's too far in the distant future, like, so an example is like I'm doing an Ironman training right now, right? And it's 40 weeks to do this training. And, but it's easy, I think, to look at that. And for the first few, the first month, just blow it off and say, because a lot of Ironman trainings are 6 months, which is not 40 weeks. Right. And so this is almost double that. And I look at that and I'm saying, no. Like what I do know is somebody put this together, and it's very formulated to prepare me for Ironman. And yes, I don't get all the days in. I don't think anybody does, but preparing for an Ironman takes a lot longer than like, when do you start
anything?
Then? Right. Yeah. So you have to, so it's like, okay, I need to get prepared for this. And because I'm going to have times when I get sick, I'm going to have times when I'm too sore to do this, or I potentially risk injury, or I need to go on vacation, or I need to work or something like that. And I think all that together to me makes a whole lot more sense, because if you put too distant out there, it can turn into whatever, which is, I think, fundamentally a problem with New Year's resolutions anyway, because I got till 2024 to do this, baby.
Right.
You know what I mean? So setting those short-term goals, I think, really helps. Okay. So the measures of success rate. They said at each point, the participants rated their success on a 10-point scale. So this is where they were doing the check-in, right? From 0%, I have fully and completely abandoned my New Year's resolution.
That's so final sounding.
I know. To 100%, I'm sticking to my New Year's resolutions fully and completely according to the plan. Now, in order to assess success rates, a cutoff was applied wherein participants who scored greater to or equal to 70%, which was, I am, by and large, sticking to my New Year's resolutions, were considered successful, while participants who scored less than or equal to 60%, I am considering giving my New Year's resolutions a shot, were considered unsuccessful. So anything below that was considered unsuccessful, okay? In subsequent analyses, the cutoff was dummy coded as a dichotomous variable as 1, success, 0. So basically they did a cutoff and then went from there. Okay. And here were the results. So number of participants, you can kind of see, physical health, 33%, weight loss was 20%, 13% was eating, 9% self-improvement, 5% mental health and sleep. It's weird that they mix those two things.
Yeah. Mental health and sleep.
4% was work and studies.
Well, self-improvement is generic as...
Well, yeah, they operationalized...
Isn't that all that shit?
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway,
self-improvement.
I don't want to distract.
Maybe I get better at playing guitar or something. 3% tobacco, 2% consumption, Like you get diagnosed with consumption?
Yeah.
Isn't that where
means.
Isn't that where you just diarrhea till you die?
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a potty problem.
That seems such a weird, like,
that used
title.
to kill a lot of people.
I know, but consumption seems like it's going the opposite
direction.
direction.
It's not consumption, it's the lack thereof.
What's
it's
the opposite of
evacuation? Yeah.
You just call it evacuation. Yeah. Okay. 2% personal finance, 2% drinking, I would assume alcohol, 2% friends and family, 2% home environment, 1% hobbies, 1% engagement, 1% love. Okay. That was the breakdown.
All right.
And then here's the outcome. So group 1, you see they give you those, you can kind of see those weaved in there. But look who came out on top, though, in terms of the success. So right here on the, this is the y-axis, right? This is the x-axis.
Group 1.
So, no.
What am I looking at? Oh, I was looking at the chart wrong.
Yeah, there you
go.
Dummy. So, the 1,062 participants, relative success rates, 95% confidence intervals. So group 2 actually did better than group 3.
Yeah, why would that be?
Well, so they had some thoughts on this. This is
like oversaturation with...
Right. So among the participants who set approach-oriented goals, 58.9% consider themselves successful compared to 47%. So obviously, do approach-oriented goals, folks. Group 2 versus Group 3. So a post hoc analysis indicated that participants in Group 2 who had some support reported significantly higher rates of success than those in Group 3, which had extended support. Participants who received more support thus consider themselves less successful than those who received less support. Participants in Group 3 were given information on how effective goals are specific in time frame. A specific goal is beneficial because it affords more information about what one is supposed to do to make progress towards one goal. However, a specific goal also clarifies when one is not doing what one is supposed to do. Participants with a vague resolution, for example, to take better care of oneself, may consider oneself to be successful if he or she has made some changes in that general direction. Conversely, a participant with a specific resolution, for example, to exercise twice a week, might consider oneself unsuccessful if he or she has not fully adhered to that pledge.
All right. So it's not that Group 2 was necessarily objectively better. So they perceived themselves to be better because they had more loosely defined explanations of what success was.
But let me ask you this, though. But isn't that the point of New Year's resolutions, though? I mean, we're not talking about therapy goals here, right? I mean, I'm not working with a substance use
what do you
client.
mean? Well, okay, I don't know. What are you saying? The point of New Year's resolutions is just to feel like you accomplished something?
Well, if
as opposed to actually accomplishing it?
Well, it's not saying that they didn't accomplish it. It just says that their goal was vague and they felt like they were better in that general direction.
So it's like, okay, if it's vague, I want better overall health. So that means that, okay, maybe I got to the gym 3 times this month and I ate 1 less bonbon and feel really good about that. And so it's like, okay, I am doing better with this. Whereas the person that had the goal of going to the gym, what did it say, twice a week?
Yeah.
Maybe they went once a week, but they otherwise like went to the gym more often than the people in Group 2. But they just didn't perceive that they were doing better because their specific goal, they didn't meet that criteria. Like that, the person in Group 3 still conceivably did more towards their goal than Group 2.
Yes,
potentially.
But Group 2 though, they felt like they had better success.
They felt
rates.
like it.
They felt like it. Okay. So if you think about the point of a New Year's resolution, I mean, this is really what I think it boils down to is what's the point of the New Year's resolution?
Okay.
If the New Year's resolution is to make you feel better about yourself and at least move into a right direction or something like that.
Okay.
Then Group 2 accomplished that, right? And I don't know.
If that's the goal, yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily. I mean, unless like your goal is malicious or something, like towards another person.
If the goal is to feel better about yourself, I get that. It's just like I guess But like, what if it was like a goal like what you're setting with, training for an Ironman? If the goal's to be in Ironman shape, then
me feeling better about myself wouldn't make any difference. I think confidence does play a role in your ability to successfully complete that. But I mean,
like, what if you weren't feeling quite as good about your Ironman goal, but you had objectively put in a lot more work because you set these specific measurable objective things?
Well, I'd be better off. I'd be better off in completing the goal. If I just felt better about this, it reminds me, my physician, Dr. Sharman, he was mentioning that he volunteered down at the Ironman St. George, and he said, I've never seen more people that had no business trying to run an Ironman in my life. And he said, so many people were just, a horrible health condition, and they tried to do this, and he was treating them for emergency care.
Oh God.
Yeah. Which, so to me, it can that, I guess you could say, false sense of confidence could be potentially dangerous, provided that your goal is something on the level of running an Ironman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not, I'm just saying, it's a
good study. It just, I guess it depends on what you want out of it.
So one thing they did say too was participants in group 3 were also asked to set interim goals throughout the year. While interim goals, similarly to specific goals, clarify what we're supposed to do, they provide even more possibilities for failure. For instance, if a participant sets 6 interim goals, he or she has 6 possible deadlines to miss. So that was the other thing too, is, so I guess
it depends on the point of the goal.
Yeah.
Is it to feel better or to achieve? And I mean, maybe it's not an either or. Like,
right.
Maybe the take home message. Well, I don't know. What is the take home message? Because like doing group 3 is in theory the most likely to be primed for achieving the thing, although not necessarily feeling as though you succeeded. But like that person's output might end up being better if we're measuring output.
Well, I think maybe, if in my opinion, one flaw of this study would be the dichotomy of success or failure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay? Yeah.
And so I don't think failure. There's only one way for failure, in my opinion, and that's quitting. Okay. So quitting, in my opinion, is exceeds failure. Failure is just a side effect of becoming successful. So,
perfect.
As you're progressing. So my thing is, I would want to coach. So I think objectively, you can say group 3 probably did better, like objectively in terms of reaching their goals, than group 2, right? I mean, I don't know, but
maybe. Yeah.
Let's say they did. Yeah. If you did this study again, I think reframing, cognitively reframing, maybe interjecting some replacement thoughts on what your success and failure looks like would be better for group 3. Because
yes,
if my goal was to save $500 and I'm going to do that by putting away $50 from every paycheck, okay, and I'm going to check in 6 times a year, easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I save $400, I mean, did I fail?
Exactly.
I don't think you did.
Right. I
mean, you were successful, and like we do with our clients, it's saying, well, you didn't fail. You did, 85% of your goal. Let's troubleshoot the parts that you didn't do, and let's find out what barriers there were, and let's work on removing those barriers, and then potentially moving on to, doing it again.
That's
right?
the move.
Yeah. So I think it is kind of hazardous to just feel like you were successful, but group 3 deserves to feel like they were successful. They just need to change their metric on what success actually looks
100%.
like. 100%. Right. I mean, if you look at like, I want to live a successful life, start by not comparing yourself to Elon Musk, because you're always going to be a loser. Always. Okay. Always and forever, you're going to be a loser. Now, if you just compare yourself to yourself, you know, of what success was 2 years ago for you. Okay, that's a realistic metric, you know, like I'm not going to externalize this. I'm going to internalize this, kind of go from there. But that would be my critique of that study and what I think would make it better.
I agree with that.
So
that's great.
In summary, what do we got? Use approach-oriented goals and avoid avoidance goals. Should be pretty easy.
Reframe what success and failure mean.
But still have objective measures. I mean, the reason I have a problem with SMART goals, aside from therapists, you know,
the obnoxious
being silly. If you want to set goals, you want to know how to do it. You want to be smart. I'm like, oh God. Okay. I think one of the things, realistic pretty much encompasses everything within SMART goals, in my opinion.
Attainable, realistic.
Yeah. I mean, it's SMART goals. My biggest beef is it's just redundant.
To be spam.
Yeah.
Specific, positive.
Positive is the one. So that's one thing that we talk about, is that it needs to be positive in terms of this, you know, you shouldn't be trying to hurt somebody, or, you know, your goal shouldn't be, I'm going to bring down Deborah this year.
Bring down.
I'm going to destroy Barbara. You know, that's what some of those government workers they're talking about.
That's funny.
That's their goal. But it should be positive in that it's bringing a net positive into your life. And then also I think those things are good, but reframing your own understanding of what success is. So I think we can all agree on that one.
Damn good PowerPoint, bro. I'm impressed.
Dude, I keep pumping them out. Okay.
So
before we break, you thought of one?
I have a genre, but I
at least
I have some research to do before I pitch it to you. So I don't want
to let me wet my beak, huh?
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Then your homework then is, between now and next time we meet, this is your therapy goal, is that you come up with some sort of New Year's dare, because your dare is to come hunting with us this year.
Got it.
Okay. We don't say anything more about this?
No. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, folks. Okay.